Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're setting up the phone stand.
All right, it's 10:30,
Okay.
and it's time for next presentation by SofiaCasabianca. The title of the presentation is Misplaced, Far but Not Apart.
Yes.
You'll have 20 minutes for presentation, 10 minutes for discussion. Please remember, I'm talking to participants, that you can ask those questions during the presentation on the chat room. All right, so take it away. It's all yours.
Okay. Can everyone see all right? Thumbs up? Okay. So hello, everybody. It's so nice to have you all here today with me. Welcome to my degree project. So before I start getting very deep into this project, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background story about myself so that this actually makes sense for you. So these are my brothers, Rafa and Juan. They have been my guardians growing up my whole life. That's me in the middle. And Rafa is a successful computer scientist that graduated from Sheffield, England. And Juan graduated in Colombia. And is a multitasker from designing to programming to building a business. He does it all. But he stayed back in Colombia to finish his degree while the rest of the family was all over the world. These are my parents, Paulito and Pepita. Have y'all just met them? A businessman and an artist who have been traveling the world ever since they got married 29 years ago. And this is us. That's Poti, that you just all met too. And well, this is us, a family of 5 that have, for the past 6 years, between the 5 of us, we have lived in 5 different countries. So we have lived all over the place. And if someone knows something about living abroad, it's us. My parents have had 3 children living away from family for college. And if there's something that we have realized is that communicating is hard. And we're not the only family out there who lives this kind of lifestyle. You know, there is currently 3.7 million students living abroad. And so I figured out that the problem was that it became very hard to live abroad because you start feeling lonely and you start feeling like you're being forgotten. And it was because communicating with them is hard. There's so many things that affect the way I communicate with them, like time difference and poor phone signal and different schedules and restricted Wi-Fi connections. So many small things that affect the way that I talk to them and the way that they talk to me too, you know? So here is where I landed on this problem. That was that communicating with family is very hard while you're living abroad because there is no fun or genuine way to connect. We only have a phone, right? I can only call them or text them. Those are my 2 options. Depending on how I'm feeling, I'm gonna text them, or if I'm feeling like it, I'll call them and we'll talk for like an hour, you know? And so I landed on my research question, which was, how can sensory design help 2 people in different parts of the world have a deeper connection? And as my project started to evolve a little, I developed this secondary question, which was, how can communication between 2 people in different parts of the world be more efficient, fun, and spontaneous? And so these became the 3 keywords that I was using throughout my whole project. Every time I was designing, I was thinking, is this going to be efficient? Is this going to be fun? Or is this going to be spontaneous? So this was kind of like my big guide throughout the project. And so I started my research. And I started by researching about sensory design, not only because I've always been very interested in it, but also because it became the main road for my project. Um, and I decided on sensory design because I figured out that the what I miss most about them is being there and interacting with them and being able to hug them and share a meal. And I realized that all those things just involve the senses. So I started researching about sensory design. And well, it explained that when someone has a physical interaction with another person, what makes it what makes it a memorable experience is that the human senses are involved and that they work together to create a better experience for you. Like, let's say later on, uh, memories are usually triggered by the senses. Like, let's say that you smell a certain smell and it reminds you of someone or a special moment that you shared with them. So the senses became a very important part of this project. Sensory design hits us from all directions. It keeps us activated and fully engaged in the experience. The more senses that are involved, the more special this experience is going to be, and the more memorable it will be because the senses work together. Um, and in another hand, sensory design enhances health and well-being as well. And that also became a very big problem while living abroad because, as I mentioned, you start feeling lonely and a lot of emotions happen through your mind. It's a very, like, the best experience of my life, but also has been the hardest. Um, so with that being said, and researching about this sensory design, everything started to click, but I realized that the senses are only things that you can engage with physically, other than sight and sound. So I started researching about a way where I could, a way where I could really integrate my medium, which was a phone, because that's the only thing we have to connect. So I started researching about augmented reality, and honestly, what's out there, it's incredible. The last couple of years, so many things have happened. Um, Augmented reality has been used for magazine covers, museums, photography, creative design, interior design, and so many more creative purposes that it just really inspired me. AR also just kind of like became the perfect bridge for me to connect the physical world and the digital world, which was kind of like my struggle because I felt like the senses had to be engaged, but at the same time, I was looking at my limitations, which were I only have a phone or a computer. That is it. So AR became my perfect bridge. This started to connect everything. And so I started my interview process. I held a bunch of private interviews as well as anonymous. So I started asking questions like, how you feel about communicating with family? Has it been hard? Has it been affected in any way? How many times, how often do you talk to them? Kind of like to see really what was happening if it wasn't just my family. So I got responses like, I love seeing their facial expressions. I love being able to see what they're doing and show them what I'm doing and tell them stories and watch them laugh. And I realized that all these responses had to do with the senses. It's talking about seeing their facial expressions, tell them stories, watch them laugh. And then Antonia also responds, it's been hard, but it makes the time I have together with them more special. I feel grateful for those experiences. So this really made me think, and it just really engaged with what I was researching about the sensory design. And so I proceeded to my research, and these were some of the anonymous responses I got, which kind of made me a little sad. I got things like, I usually don't talk to my family since my parents are very busy. And I got stuff like that. And it just made me sad because talking to my parents is probably the highlight of my day. And knowing that people out there are not even able to talk to their parents just made me think that I really have to fix this issue. And so I started asking the big questions, which were what objects, what tastes, smells, anything that had to do with the senses. And I got responses from whiskey, tobacco, coffee, Indian food, trees, anything. Like there was so many options that here's where I just felt a little lost. I was like, okay, I know I have to create a something, but all these people relate to different things. So my conclusion was that everyone relates to different things. And that's because we all have grown up in different environments, you know, different ethnicities. So I was starting to think of an object where everyone could relate to it without it being a specific thing, you know, because I would have to deal with those ethnic restrictions. So I landed on my initial solution, which I knew that was going to be half physical and half digital, because the physical part was to reach the senses, and then the digital part was because that was the only medium I had. So I started really just throwing all the ideas I had in my mind out there. I made a mind map. I started asking people, the people that I interviewed, I started asking a bunch of questions about, you know, would you use this? Do you feel related to this? You know, and it was, it became very hard to find a what for the physical thing, um, because as I was saying, uh, they would just not relate to anything at all. So I finally landed on creating an interactive sticker and have an app go along with it. So I started my visual process. This was some artboards I did, you know, to really capture the imagery, color, essence, typeface, and all that stuff. Um, and then the coronavirus happened. And here's where I felt a little lost. I knew that the sticker was going to be an easy way to execute. So I decided to keep working with the sticker, but it became very hard because I had so many ideas to produce so many different things, and user testing became very hard too. But I proceeded with my sticker, and I was just really trying to capture a design that would just bring us a little bit of joy in this, you know, during these times. So I was trying to make a sticker with personality that was different and fun. Really just trying to explore, you know, with my hand. And I was also at the same time trying to create an app that could make the sticker functional, and but would also include fun features, you know, and break with that barrier that we have nowadays, which is only like a group chat. So here's where I landed on my final solution: misplaced, far but not apart. It's a concept that brought it all together. It is a personalized experience for families that have members living abroad. Um, it aims to create a more productive, engaging, and fun experience for families, you know? So it is a subscription service of $7 a month that includes a personalized family sticker and full access to the Misplaced app. The family sticker comes with 2 printed versions of it. So as y'all remember, this was my mom, Pepita, and she was scrolling through Instagram one day and she found this app. Do you know anyone moving abroad? And if she knows anyone moving abroad, you know it's Pepita. So she just clicks on it and takes her to the app store. She reads a little bit of the description. She's like, okay, I'm in, I'm downloading this app. So she downloads the app, and it, at the beginning, as most apps, it explains a little bit of what Misplaced is about, and it lets her sign up. The sign up process is a little bit long because you have to set up your sticker and all that, but here it explains what it is. She fills out her information and chooses the plan of payment for the monthly subscription. Okay, and then after she's done setting her subscription payment, it's time to set up her family sticker, which was the best part. So she starts off, and she starts by selecting the amount of family members that she wants to like be part of this. And she fills out all this information about each one of them so that the Misplaced team could later on go and personalize the sticker for you, you know, and make it very fun. And then you can review the information, make sure everything's correct. And the final process is just to review billing and shipping information so that she can actually receive the stickers. And once that's done, now she's in the app and she's ready to go. Well, it was my birthday 2 days ago, and she wanted to make me really just feel special, you know. She knew that we were in quarantine, and she went ahead and sent me a surprise video with my dog singing me happy birthday. She chose the occasion to make the video a little bit more personalized, and she recorded the video straight up in the app. And that's it. You just record the video, and with a click, you send it. And now I have no more FaceTime planning dates or forced birthday videos or like 3-hour-long conversations. I just felt the love and how special it was just with a minute-long video. And so, well, although my mom misses me a lot, I miss her a lot too. And I have sent her a bunch of videos for different occasions just because I miss her, but also for her Mother's Day. And so she could go to her gallery and access all of these videos. She could scroll through them, but they're organized by date. But also she could filter them by person, date, or occasion. So a few moments later, after my mom sent the video, I received a notification on my phone. And since she enabled the notifications, I opened the app and it takes me to the sticker scanner, and I scanned my sticker and I found this beautiful surprise that my mom sent me of this video of her singing with my dog, which just made me happier, you know? And well, my dad left for Panama a couple days ago for a very important conference, and he can't talk, he can't text, you know, he's super busy, he can't do any phone stuff. And so my mom, just to make him know that she's thinking about him, she can send him a quote unquote a virtual hug with literally just one click. So he'll be notified on his phone that Pepita sent him a hug, and he'll just know that she's thinking about him, you know, make it special. And the final aspect of Misplaced was that since the coronavirus happened, I still wanted to have an experience where the senses could be fully engaged. So I created an online store where there's a bunch of products where you can like personalize them and give them like scents. You can choose like colors, and you can also like personalize hoodies and upload your sticker, you know, and have like this kind of like family thing going on. You can have pillows, and there's also sticker accessories so that your sticker can, you know, if you don't want to just paste it on the wall. You want to really give the sticker personality, then you can buy sticker accessories. And so, yeah, well, at the end of the day, the coronavirus did affect this, but Misplaced is for students living abroad, but the coronavirus has showed so many families have been apart for almost a month already. So Misplaced could be an app that is used for all families around the world. So thank you everyone for being here today. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you to a special thanks to my family for always supporting me, and thank you.
Thank you for this wonderful presentation. Great project. Thank you. Bravo. We have 25 participants in the room, so it's time for questions, comments, discussion, please.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I think that's a good idea to stop sharing. And
Okay.
Yeah, your last comment is really your last comment was really timely. It's not only for families living abroad anymore. These are we have families who live, you know, in a different town here in New England, and they cannot see each other for such a long time. So that's a maybe you didn't plan that, but it's this is a universally applicable idea for your project. And again, I would like to say, as a comment, not a question, that it's a best model for our degree project, that you take your own experience and you're trying to convert this experience into universally applicable products in this particular application. So I applaud that idea. And if you had all the time in the universe, what else you would add to that product? You know, because multisensory design, it's such a big loaded term. And you're absolutely right. This is such an important part of human communication. It's not only visual, it's not only sound, it's not only touch, it's all of that together, which creates our human multisensory experience.
Yeah, well, there was so many things that I wanted to do that I didn't actually get to do. So like if I was to push this project further too, like I feel like having a source where you can communicate with other families, you know, and kind of like have a resource where you can just vent and talk, because although yeah, communicating with family can help the problem with you feeling lonely and, you know, feeling like forgotten. But I feel like still being able to share your stories and communicate with other people would just even help like your experience be even better, you know. And well, also I wanted to like figure out a way to like incorporate even more senses to like a thing like a sticker, like, you know, like even incorporating like senses, scent, like maybe when you scratch it you can like smell it and it'll like remind you of something, you know.
Sophia, I have a couple of questions. First of all, I love your avatars. I think they are charming, they are seductive, and they are what brought me to your project. I saw them on your poster and the eyes are like, you know, it's really wonderful. And along the same lines as Jan's question, I would love to see that kind of interactivity somewhere in your brand. And so I was glad to see that you were opening up objects with which to position these stickers or patches or something, blankets that you can hug, and maybe candles that you can smell, and you know, all these wonderful ways in which avatars can be personalized. Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
Taking it to that length. I mean, these are your watercolors, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're wonderful. They are really charming, and I would love one for myself.
Well, you can sign up with your family.
I would love some.
Yeah, no, but that's actually a great idea, like kind of like incorporating. Because I used kind of like this watercolor feel to kind of like touch and just making it feel more, I don't know, less vector, you know, like I didn't want it to be this digital thing, because like, as I was saying, like the senses, like touching your family and, you know, I felt like watercolor kind of like captures that a little bit more, you know. It's more gentle, it's more like see-through. It's not like a plain circle on, you know.
Yeah, it's material.
Exactly. And like I felt like when I was working with my hands too, I just felt so much more inspired, and it kind of like just guided the project, you know, on that direction instantly.
When you were interviewing people, when you're interviewing people for this project, were you surprised by any of the answers that they gave, like about what they missed from home?
Yeah, I was, honestly. I like, I mean, because I think of my family and we're very close, and when I heard that answer of like, I don't talk to my parents at all, they just know what's going on through social media, I was just so shook. I was like, like h- how, like, this is your family, you know. And so like that just really inspired me to like really take over, you know. But also in the interviews, when I got like the responses about what reminds you of home, and I got so many random things, I was like, okay, this is just so specific for each one of the people. Like someone said Jack Daniels, someone said tabaco. Like I was just like, what's going on? People, come on.
Yeah, I can definitely see everyone having very specific things. So I really like how you tailored things to be what like each person could personalize it. One thing that really stood out to me, and I'm like, I wonder how you got to it, is like the send a hug thing. I think very often I have like, I don't want to send full messages because I feel very like emotionally drained trying to communicate with my family if they're really far away. And the send a hug, I really like that because it's just like, I'm thinking of you, but it isn't like asking you to do too much.
Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking of the poke feature on Facebook, and like I was thinking, like, I remember we talked in class with Pallavi a while ago, of course, when before coronavirus. Um, and we were talking about how sometimes you just don't want to call, or you just don't want to text because it's not from the heart, you know. It's you just don't feel like it, and it's okay, you know. I mean, it's a phone, it's a device. Like, if something, it's better that you don't feel like you want to run and talk and text someone, or you know. Um, so I felt like I wanted to have a feature where you just a click and it's enough, you know, and it's like special enough to just make the other person think, like, know that you are thinking of them, you know.
Anything else?
Something pretty specific. I really loved your project overall, and I loved how warm it felt with the watercolors and your overall design of it. Just felt like super warm and friendly and like family. Um, but my question is, you had an augmented reality bit in part of it. Was that kind of difficult to mock up? Like, did you have any challenges with that, or did you have Martha before and you like learned how to do all that already?
Well, thank you first. Thank you, first of all. And so I took Martha's and Sophie's class for the poster disobedient design, which was letterpress and AR combined together like a year ago. And when I took that, it blew my mind. I was so excited and like amused with the fact that you could grab your phone, scan something, and it will play. So as soon as I did that, I kind of like knew that AR was something that I wanted to use. It was very challenging because, I mean, I was kind of like prototyping this app that could potentially scan the sticker, you know. So actually putting it together was like a little bit of taking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. But at the end of the day, I feel like it came out right.
Yeah, it looked super nice in the end. Cool, thanks.
Yes, that's AI, augmented reality component. It's a very important part of your overall visual language. It's not only about visual language itself, it's about motion, it's about adding that layer of information on top of it,
Yes.
everything else. Wonderful project. We have 2 more minutes. Are there any more questions from the participants, please?
I wanted to comment on this.
Go ahead.
I think it's a really brilliant project. I liked all of it. I really like the communicative aspect. One of my things that I have my grandmother that calls me almost every other day, and it can be like you said. It can be sometimes you just don't want to answer, but you want some way to communicate with them, and I think that's really brilliant. And I love the idea of putting scents and stickers onto these projects, because most of my family I mean, though that we're like 4 hours apart, it is hard to come and see them sometimes. And then there are these scents that just make you feel so comforted. And like, for example, like my stepdad, like when he goes out, puts on this like overwhelming like amount of cologne. And I just think, I don't know, that would be something that would be nice to have. And I was just thinking, potentially maybe adding onto your project about like in memoriam, or some sort of like memorial piece to family members that have passed away.
Yeah, that sounds like actually a great idea.
Excellent suggestion, yes. Well, that was, I guess, the last comment of this presentation, because we are at this point 11 o'clock, so we need to move to another presentation. Congratulations again, Sophia. This was
Thanks
wonderful.
everyone for being here.
Bravo.
It was great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sending everyone my love.